Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Oz Outdoors coming at you here from outdoors in the Ozarks. I'm down here in the Buffalo River Wilderness, some of my favorite trails, and I've brought my Durston X-Mid Pro 1 out for its first night out on the trail. I have some buddies hiking with me. Amongst them they have the Plex Solo, and my brother has my Ultraplex, so we'll be able to do some real-world testing of those top ultralight single-person tents. But to get to this point, things have not gone as planned. Yes, that's right. My van broke down on the way here. Just ground to a halt by the side of the road and had to call for a tow and get it towed back to where I live. Thankfully, because I'm hiking with buddies, we were all able to bundle into the following cars and all get down here, and a little thing like breaking down is not going to stop us having a good weekend out on trail. So looking forward to seeing what else can possibly go wrong. Trails are literally creeks. So much rain and so much water running down the trails.
This is my first time setting up the Durston X-Mid Pro 1 in the wild, i.e. not in my backyard. I wasn't rushing to set it up as fast as I possibly could, but I still got it up in 2 minutes and 8 seconds. This was helped by it being nice and soft where I was pitching, so I was able to push the stakes in with my feet rather than having to pound them with rocks. Nonetheless, I was very happy with the simplicity of the pitch, and I didn't have to make any adjustments afterwards.
So mishap number 2, there was a crazy piece of metal that was buried under these leaves that I did not see when I was pitching my tent, and I walked around this side of the tent and stepped on this thing under the leaves, and this end of it flipped up underneath the lip of my tent here on the inside and tore a little hole in the DCF. Super annoying. Thankfully I had some DCF tape and fixed it, but just really annoying to have a hole in a brand new tent.
Good morning, everyone. I slept great last night. The interior temperature of the tent got down to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. I keep a Minimax thermometer in my tent and another one outside because I just like to know the data. There is some condensation on the walls of the tent, but none of it dropped down on my quilt, and what's on the walls is nothing different from what I would have expected. The vents up in the roof did their job, and most of the steam and vapor escaped, and I stayed warm and dry all night long. I'm going to go and check the outside temperature just as soon as I can bring myself to get up and get out. So comfortable. was forecast to rain last night, and I was hoping that it would for some real-world storm testing, but it didn't, so I have to try another time. In the meantime, I did a simulated storm test, which is linked up top and down in the description, so you can check that out if you're interested. I'll give you a quick tour of my tent here. On the head end, I put my shoes on my water bottle. Then just inside the door up by my head, I have my nighttime ditty bag. I'm a light sleeper, so I use an eye patch, some ibuprofen and Benadryl, and some earplugs. My battery pack for charging my phone, and I brought my Catadine B3 in here last night because I thought it might freeze outside. My pillow. In the pocket up here I got my thermometer and my headlamp. Obviously my quilt, my sleeping pad, and then under my sleeping pad I put my sit pad just for a little bit of extra insulation. I didn't put anything in that pocket down there, and then got my backpack out there down at the foot end in the second vestibule. The Zpacks Flex Solo. About the same amount of condensation in here, well, probably even a little more than my Durston. The guys who slept in the Plex Solos both said that their quilts got wet. Mine did not.
It took me exactly 2 minutes to get the tent down and packed. With practice I think I could do it a few seconds faster. I've just started packing by rolling my tent in both directions, whereas previously I used to fold widthwise and then roll lengthwise. I think it's less stress on the DCF the way I'm doing it now, and I should be able to get a bit faster at it.
These little chives or onion grass are just great to eat as you're going down the trail. So the weather hasn't really cooperated. I was hoping for rain at night so that I could do a real world storm comparison, because I've got all the tents out here from my last video with friends camping in them. We got rain in the daytime, not at nighttime, so we've been wet hiking, but no rain at night to report on. I can, however, report on condensation with some anecdotes. It's hard to measure condensation, but just looking at people's quilts this morning, the ones who were sleeping in Zpacks tents definitely were damp on top of their quilts, just to the touch. Mine in the Xmid Pro 1 was bone dry to the touch. There was some condensation on the inside of the tent that I could wipe up with my towel, just very light, but there were definite drops beading and some rivulets running down inside the Zpacks tents. So overall, I feel like the condensation test for the Xmid Pro 1 worked out in its favor. I still want to do a real world storm test of the different brands of tents, but that's going to have to wait until another time when the weather will cooperate. So stay tuned for that, and whenever I find that there is a real storm, I'll get out in it. So these here are antlion nests. There's a little bug that digs these holes and lives underground, and ants come along and fall in these holes, and then the bug underneath just reaches its pinchers out and grabs the ant that's fallen into the hole. You can dig them up from under the ground. Sometimes they're under there, sometimes those are abandoned holes, but I'm not going to dig through their feeding traps to see if I can find any. Just leave them be. Ant lions. found any benefit in this content, any enjoyment, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I appreciate it very much, and I'll talk to you soon.